am here today with Roy Moody. Roy is one of the trusted advisors we've appointed to join the Excelerator100 program. Roy was previously CEO of Phytech Systems. Thanks for joining us, Roy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the extent of your experience on the international scene?
Yeah, my background is really growing a 100% export business, really through the introduction of disruptive technologies. So trying to identify what our ultimate purchasers were wanting and then delivering through the supply chain and growing that business from increasing our product range to then our overseas marketing and then diversifying our supply chain, which then became a global supply chain to meet our global customer base.
Great. So what would be some million-dollar advice you would give to businesses in that early stage of exporting?
I think for any business, but certainly a business that's starting up, is think about the shark bite problems that's in your market or industry. And I like to define those as, when the shark bites you, that's the problem. You can't think of anything but that problem. And for your customers, it's a great way for you to introduce new products, but it's also, if you're in more of a commodity style business, or in a market where your product might be commoditized, it's a good way of understanding other market dynamics where you can differentiate yourself from your competitors. So if it's on product, it's answering a critical need in terms of a product basis, but certainly on the supply side too, if you're in a commodity business and you can improve delivery to your customers and take away those issues that they have with suppliers who are very similar to you in the product profile, then it's a way of cementing yourself further in with your customer base. And I think on the flip side of it, when you go to market, certainly in the early stages, there will be problems. And often it's how you respond to those problems is more defining of your future business than your initial foray into the market. When you become the shark bite problem for your customer, how you respond can actually be a great way to grow your business with that customer. In the early stages, someone has gone in and backed you in your customer base. And when a problem happens, of course, their neck is on the chopping block as well. And if you can respond in such a way that it's a good response, it gets them out of the problem, then they will go back to you because that really builds that confidence. And I think it's really about having a plan of how you respond to a crisis before it happens, because it will happen. And of course, in the crisis, the last thing you want to have to come up with is what your response is going to be. So as an early exporter, knowing how you are going to respond when that problem occurs will buy you so much more time and cement you with your customers.
And so if you had your time again, what would you do differently?
I think the time again, I would really try and grow my in-market sales resources earlier. I was given some very good advice early on, and it was go for revenue first and then worry about how you drive profits. Of course, that means you have to understand your business. You can't go out there and effectively buy sales at the total cost of the bottom line, but when you do understand your business and you know what you can withstand, going out there probably earlier than you feel comfortable with and growing that sales resource will certainly pay dividends in the longer term.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for sharing that, Roy. Thanks.